Good morning, everybody. I am working on the finger, and I got some stuff refined on it that I was too tired to figure out yesterday, and it looks a lot better. So I'm going to show you guys that really quick, and then I'm going to start on the arm. Alright guys, so what I did is I took this, and if you remember yesterday I was saying I needed a mill. I was like talking about how I really wish I had a mill in order to make this. The reason for that is like this piece right here that comes down, you see this right here, that was like coming off of over here, so they were hitting each other, so I was saying I was going to have to cut down both sides of them so they could slide past each other. I was just really tired when I was working on it and couldn't quite think about it, and today I'm like, I bet I can change that, and I got on here and messed around with it. So that's the finger curled up right there. So if we go like this, there you can see it open, and these right here, these holes are going to be how I'm going to mount Kevlar in between these, so you'll have a very strong protective fabric that you can feel with your fingers, and so you'll have this metal, like, so these parts will be like the part of the exoskeleton that actually touch, so here, and here. So those parts, if I turn the body back on, so you can see with my hand in there, you can see those, and the finger is not completely straight, so I designed this part is straight, and this finger's not, so it would actually be sitting, this would be a little bit more curved. It'd be like, well, I'm not going to be able to do it. But it would be able to, so essentially what it'll feel like is you'll have this metal coming around, and then eventually, if we can get this thing actuated, and actuating the fingers is going to be a very difficult task to do. But the idea is you'd be able to feel it, and what will probably end up happening is there's going to be a pressure sensor. If you heard me talk about how this thing is going to work before, there'll be pressure sensors all over the body, and they'll be used to know essentially where, so if you take your arm for example, and I push my arm this way, it's going to hit that pressure sensor, and the suit is going to realize I'm trying to move that way, and it's going to move the suit. There's going to be an AI that does it, so that I don't have to write an algorithm to do it. It's going to be AI driven, so I'm going to essentially make a game, like a video game, that is how the suit would actually work as a simulation, let the game play it for a while, then once it gets kind of refined, go and put it into the actual suit and then let me wear it, and then let it get more refined, and then and then I can feed it. The nice thing about using an AI versus an algorithm is I can feed it other data, like I can give it like EMG data on like my muscles activating, and it can get better at trying to know where I'm trying to go, using a non-algorithmic source to do this. So essentially by using AI instead of using trying to write an algorithm to do it. That's why I'm doing it that way. If that didn't make sense to you, don't worry, that's coming down the line, so you don't need to worry about it right now. But anyway, the pressure sensor for the finger is going to be on the back. And then when there's only one pressure sensor on it, so like on this one, on your hand, there'll be like one for each direction, and then there'll be another one going this way. And then the idea is the suit's trying to keep it right in the middle. With this one, there's not going to be any pressure sensor on the finger pads. I mean, I could. It's not impossible to do that, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a pressure sensor down the back of the finger, and then the idea is it'll try to always keep just a very slight amount of pressure on the back of your fingers. And then, so if you move down, the pressure is going to decrease, and it knows it needs to push them down, and then if I push up, it's going to increase and it'll pull them back. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of how the idea of this thing is going to work. And then, so this is going to be the fabric that goes through, and what's cool about this is you'll be able to grab onto something, and you'll still be able to feel it, but then you'll have the pieces of metal on either side of your fingers coming down and touching it, and so the suit can actually grip it and hold it too. This is also how the foot is going to work. There's going to be metal around the foot, and what's cool about that is that it'll actually be able to support the skeleton will support its own weight via the feet. So all the weight of the suit will be pushed into the ground via the outside of the foot, and you won't actually feel any of the weight of the suit as you wear it, because it'll be rigid all the way up. But this should give you like really like nice control, and then I need to figure out exactly how I want to attach an actuator in here, because I really don't know how to do that yet. That's the only thing I haven't really thought about this, but I have also got that same issue I haven't really figured out on the shoulder girdle either. So it's not, I'm not necessarily behind on the finger because I'm behind on it everywhere with this. Does that make sense? So I haven't really figured all that out yet, but we're getting there. It's I think it looks pretty fucking cool. And then obviously this would be the joint for this joint right here. So this document's kind of broken. Like I said, if you were watching the video yesterday, I can't even move this joint. It crashes Fusion 360. It doesn't want to work. So it's not the best thing, but I'm doing a draft 4, so this gets me close. And then draft 4, I should get it really refined and be ready to build it on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the part that goes up the arm. And I suspect that won't be a super complicated one to do. Knock on wood. Hey guys. All right. So let me show you what I got over here. It's pretty good, except for one thing that's bothering me that I'll show you. All right, so there's me in it. So it's from the shoulder joint to the elbow joint right here. So this part right here will hook in right into these two parts on the torso. Savvy? So hook in there, in there. And so remember, there's essentially a deep and a superficial version of the suit. So if you're new to this channel and you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, deep and superficial exoskeleton supports the actuators on both sides. Because the actuators I make are the highest strength to weight ratio hydraulic actuators ever. And they have also just produced the highest amounts of force of any actuator, period. A 1-inch size 1 produces 5 tons of force. So I need this thing not to crumple when I try to put those in there. That's further down the line. But I'm designing it to where they can go in there. I'm not sure I'll be able to pull it off or not. But I'm trying to design it so I can. Anyway, all right. I got a bit of a headache. I ran 7 miles a day, and then I went walking, and like on my walk, I started getting a headache because I was hungry and stuff. But let me show you guys what this is. So we're gonna turn the bodies off here real quick, and then I'm gonna come in here, and I'm gonna go to drive joints, and then there we go. So we look here. There's two sliding joints, and the reason for having 2 sliding joints is that it allows for these parts right here to be more solid on there, right? So these have more surface area. So if I tried to do it all in one joint, which is how I did it on this one, this is laughably smaller, by the way. This is draft 1. Look how much better this looks now. But this is draft 1. So you see how there's just these tiny 2 pieces coming through here? That's because I was trying to get, in this full sweep, get all of my motion out of one spot. This one has motion there, and there, and there. So let's put this one all the way over. That one's hard over, 45 degrees, and then we'll take the other one and drive that one as well. And there you go. You see the other one moves there. So these both move, and they essentially 2 kind of separate systems of joints for one part. This is the last piece of the shoulder joint movement. So this is internal and external rotation of your arm. So it's going like this or like this. And then there's going to be another joint down below for supination of the forearm. But that shows you how that works. So pretty cool, huh? And then that goes right there. And then it's kind of roughly where it goes. And then if I turn the body back on, you'll see that this roughly aligns with the elbow. It's a little over rotated right now, but there's that. And then if we look here, I don't have them on this one because I just put them here to check and make sure they worked right, but this is how it bolts in. So this bolt comes together and bolts in. I kind of did this in a funny way. Yeah, I guess that works. Bolts the deep into the superficial, and then this one, this bolt comes through and puts the back part of the superficial on. And you can see there's 2 sliding joints on the outside of your body where it's okay to be more bulky, and there's one joint right here on the inside of your body where you don't want to be as bulky. The problem is, and this is what I don't like, is look at this huge gap between this and this. And the reason for that is these are perfect circles. That's the only way really to make them. And right here, see that? That's about as close as I can get to the bottom of that arm, which is the back side, or I guess the inside. This is the inside of the superficial part that comes in. So that is pretty much as tight as it can get, but what it ends up making is this is really not very, where is it? This is really not very close fitting here, right? So that annoys me a little bit. There's also a big, look at that, there's a big old gap there too. See, what's annoying is it's tight here, you see? And it could be that my base, I have this file, which is a separate file, brought into this one. This is the file with all of the exoskeleton stuff on it. It could be that this isn't properly centered in the right spot, so maybe if I adjust that, I can fix the problem. I'm tired right now, and I'm not going to try to do it tonight because it's going to fuck everything up, and I'm going to have to fix it. That could be the issue. I might try fucking with that. I might revisit trying to figure out where that axis of rotation actually is and trying to figure that out. Because there's a chance that axis of rotation is in the right spot. See, it looks like that's pretty much going straight to the middle of the arm right there. It looks like it. Oh, I guess, but that's not really where the issue is, huh? Let's see. This way. Does it look like it's going straight to the middle arm that way? It looks like maybe it could come over just very slightly. Well, no, it looks like it should come over that way, which would push it further out. I mean, I did this a while ago. Maybe. I mean, yeah, it's right there. So from this angle, which is kind of looking at face on, looks like it can maybe slightly come up. Maybe very slightly. I need to figure out where that axis is. I'll need to look at some pictures of some skeletons and figure out exactly where that axis is and where it wants to be. Yeah, so it's close. I mean, it's close. I don't know. I need to sleep on it and see if I like it, if I need to change some stuff. The nice thing is that it's most important that it's tight up here because that's the part that's going to come in and touch the body. So if the fact that it's a little loose up here is not as big of a deal if you come down. It is pretty fucking bulky. I was hoping it would be a little bit more streamlined than that. All right, guys. So this is kind of how it looks in the inside the full suit. It looks pretty good, I think. Honestly, it kind of about fits with the bulk. I mean, if you look in here. With this, how it kind of comes around, I say just talking like visually and aesthetically looking, I would say the bulkiness of this, which is pretty bulky in here, complements the bulkiness of this. I think it looks pretty good. You can see it doesn't look like it's 100% lining up right, and I think it's centered the right way. I just think all these joints, just the way I'm building it, it's not quite lining up. Like this actually did not line. I didn't get it to line up exactly in there when I built it, which is not. I expected it to, but it wasn't quite in the right spot. I saw earlier that for whatever reason this is tilted just very slightly off of this, even though I did kind of the same operation on them, and I'm not really sure why that is. But I don't know. I'll try. Hopefully, I'll get better at what I'm doing, and I won't run into that issue on draft 4. But it's pretty fucking cool. I mean. I don't know, I think it's pretty fucking cool. I mean, it looks like a fucking Iron Man suit. It looks like the Mark 1, you know? Yeah, so a little bulky, but overall, I think I like it. So next part to come down is going to be the hand, and there's going to be, like, this has two of the slider joints. The forearm, not the hand. So the next part is the forearm, 2 more of these, and then I put in the hand here. I could go ahead and put the hand in, but I'll wait and do that tomorrow. But that hand will be there, and then that'll connect in to this. This should actually all line up. I'm actually getting to the point where everything is starting to actually line up, which is pretty fucking awesome. Like, all of these joints, actually, they're in the right spot and stuff. And if you watch one of my old videos, this was hard-earned to do. It was very difficult to get to this point. The first 2 drafts didn't really line up with each other. This is the first draft 3, that is I could probably actually build this if I really wanted to. But I can design it one more time and hopefully save myself some grief and some trouble by getting it a little bit more thought out. And that's kind of the plan for why to do draft 4 is mostly just to get refinement done. I haven't done any exomuscle anchors on this. Like, again, those are the actuators I told you about, the high strength to weight ratio ones. So I haven't done any of those in there. I did them on an old draft, on draft 3, on how to I did them on the lumbar and the torso, but so I did them in here and in here. So I have those ones figured out, but the problem that I really am having issues with is there's supposed to be quite a few muscles inside of the shoulder girdle, and I have really no idea how to put them in there right now. And then there's also going to be some in this arm here. Like, I have an idea for this, but there needs to be some in between these 2 right here. There needs to be muscles anchored in there. And there's another group, the ones from the tricep, the ones from the bicep come through and attach all the way up here. And the reason for doing that is it allows there'll be 2 bicep head muscles, and one will turn on and turn supinate, and one will come in and pronate, or yeah, that way. That was right, by the way. And then the 2 that are coming in here are going to be, I think, the lat and the pec. So they'll come, the latissimus dorsi will come up from down here and come all the way up through here, and then run in through here, and then attach over here, and then it'll externally rotate the arm, and then so it'll attach right down here, and then come all the way in and terminate right there. But it'll come through this. So the main thing it'll be doing is bringing your arm down and back, which is what your lat does. But then on top of that, it'll also externally rotate the arm, which is not actually what your lat does, but I'm changing it slightly because I don't want to put a rotator cuff on this. And then the pec actually does this, what I'm about to tell you. The pec will start here, and it'll come up over this, and its main job will be to pull this point towards this point and move your arm kind of forward a little bit down. That'll be the main job, and there'll just be one artificial muscle going through there. And then it'll come in, and it'll terminate up here. I think it could maybe terminate down here, too. I didn't think about that. Actually, I think... Yeah, no, it comes up, and I think it terminates up here, because the idea is it should drag it this way and internally rotate the arm. Something like that. I have notes written on this, because I thought it through before. And then, assuming I still agree with them, that's what I'm trying to do. But I can't remember right now. I got a headache. All right, guys. You can tell me what you think, but I think we made some good progress today. Got some ideas figured out. There's a couple of sticking points, like that part sticking so far out of the shoulder or the elbow. I don't love. But the idea was to make it all as much of a cylinder as possible, a cylinder shape, because I'm trying to keep the shapes as simple as possible. Part of what hung me up on the draft too is I was trying to make everything curved and pretty looking, that just didn't really work. I got a headache, guys, and you can't see me without the light. What? I'm finishing this in my new cool sunglasses. Oh, it's much better. I look like Casey Neistat, so that's always great. Anyway, yeah, I think we're making progress. Like I said, I think there's a couple sticking points, but I think we'll figure them out. I got to figure out how I'm gonna put the muscles on this thing. That's gonna be its own separate thingamabob. It might not be that hard. I don't know. I already have part of the idea figured out, but probably gonna need to revisit those and make sure they're still viable, and then I need to go in, and I think what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll put them all in there, and then I might go through and put the skin on it, but I probably won't. I don't know, I'm probably thinking too far ahead right now. I'm probably too tired to be thinking about this, but the thing is, so after I build the skeleton out, I have to go put in all the exomuscle anchors, and where those, so I know where those are going to go, because those are structural pieces that need to be really properly put in there. They can't be something that's added after the fact as an afterthought, like after I cut it. They have to already be thought out. So if I want to make it actuated, I have to figure it out now. I need to do that. That'll be difficult. And then after that, I need to so the other thing that I need to do to put on is the skin, because if I'm going to put the actuator anchors on there, I need to do structural analysis on it to make sure it can actually hold the loads. And the only way to know if it'll actually hold the loads is to know how strong it's going to be with the skin on it. Right? You follow? So I have to do that if I want to make sure it actually is going to work. And then after that, I have to go and design, and I can just do a rough pass to start with, and then after I get it cut, or while I'm working on getting the money to have it cut, I can work on getting it more refined. But is the support on the inside, and that's going to be made out of, I'm going to 3D print parts that, I'm going to 3D print molds, and then have it, and I'm going to cast it in silicone, and then I'm going to cover it in like a fabric, so it's very nice and professional looking. It'll look really sexy. It'll have a honeycomb pattern on it. I've done some videos on that. It's really cool. If you're new to this channel, you should go check it out. And then I'd pretty much be done after I get the support on. And then I think what I'm going to do, since I'm actually planning on actuating this, I don't want to have to redo stuff. I know I'm trying to do a lot at the beginning. I'm trying to do it the minimum amount I need to do to still make it functional. That's why I've taken essentially all the curves and the prettiness out of it, because that was getting really complicated to build, and my computer's not powerful enough for it, and trying to make everything more rounded shape like the Mark 1 actually looked. But I actually want to get it actuated, so I need to figure all that out. And so what I need to do is on the foam supports, there needs to be pressure sensors in each of the foam supports that I'm going to build essentially from scratch. So I got to do some research on that, but I'm making like a sheet, and then that'll be pressure sensing, so that the brain of the suit, the AI, will know where I'm at and be able to try to keep me in the middle of it. Oof. I think maybe if you're new to the channel, that was a really good summation of what I'm trying to do here. Oh, and I'm trying to make it fly, but I'm not even gonna fucking get into that right now. You guys are awesome. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. It's pretty cool what I'm doing. I mean, I think it's cool anyway. Y'all have a great one. Oh, and guys, It's 100, episode 100. I made 100 episodes of the Iron Vlog. That's pretty fucking cool, right? Thanks. Thanks for all my subscribers. You're helping me get there.